So, good evening guys, and welcome to something a little bit different tonight. The Racing Hub hosts SSR Slipstream Racing and their Thursday night Realistic Performance League. That is a critical factor in this evening's race, realistic performance. So, the Mercedes and Red Bull, two strongest car, then we have the McLaren and the Ferrari, then the Alfa Tauri, the Aston Martin, the Alpine, then the Alfa Romeo, the Williams and the Haas at the rear of the pack. Some names we know: Fingers, Dixie, Mr. Rage, Matoman, Mitch, Nick, GNTX, Pedro, myself of course, Mr. Alien. But a lot of names we do not know. And you might think realistic performance means a boring racing like we see maybe sometimes in real F1. Well, do not be so sure, because when it comes to the game, sometimes a realistic league is what exactly is needed to condense the field. So, I'm surprised none of the SSR guys are going in. I'm just going to go and bang it right in their chat. Just going to do this. There they are. Everyone check it out. Get them all on board. So, what is different from what is usually on the Racing Hub on a Monday and a Wednesday? Well, the only difference is the realistic performance, and, well, I say it's not the only difference, there is actually two. Full qualifying. So the drivers have the free choice to go out, bank a good lap Q1, get themselves outside that drop zone of the bottom 5, carry on to Q2, and then that open choice of race tyre. You're not limited in this short qualifying session to kinda, if you don't bank that good medium run early, it kinda knocks you out the field. As long as you get yourself inside the top 10, you will go on to Q3 for that critical pole shootout on the race tyre you chose in Q2. So, some factors that change things a little bit, but I am pretty sure we will still go and have some good racing. Bear with me 1 second. So let's get some telemetry on the board. Some subtle changes made to Italy I have noticed in the game as well, and the factor of some curb changes at corners, which I think we may see catch some drivers out. So the chat is very quiet, nobody joining in, but we have some drivers out on track, so let's go see. Let me actually just do a quick audio balance as well, because the cars are just a wee bit loud. We'll go there. This is good. So we have I'm not sure exactly what that is actually in the lead car. I think it could be an Alpine. Yes, it is. Alpine lead car. We have Dixie in the McLaren, so let's actually have a run down of our team. We've got Volks Bob and Scooby Stu in the Mercedes, then Mitzi, Matt and Mitch both in the Red Bulls, then Dixie and Pedro in the McLarens, Greenfingers and Judson both in the Ferraris, then we have Mazepin and Ryan Sam both in the Aston Martins, then Matoman, oh no, where is the Alpines? I think it is Danny Boy in the Extremist. Yes, it is in the Alpines. Then the Alfa Romeos, we have Bossman and ENTXJ. And then the Williams, we have Matoman and Nick. And in the Haas, we have Albo and Mr. Rage. As I think, is Danny Boy going to be a first man on a lap? Yes, he is. So we'll stay on board, or we'll go with him for a lap. So he goes out of the first chicane, gets on the power, nice and relatively smooth. There's a car up ahead, but he'll do his best to stay well out of the way. That Scooby-Doo does bits and stays away on the inside. 27-1 for the first sector. Going to chuck into the second chicane, nice and easy, pick up the power. He chooses third gear, fourth gear's probably a better exit corner. Then into the first Lesmo, just stab the brakes about 40 metres, chuck the car in, hope the downforce is there in the car. Then the second Lesmo, you're going to stab the brakes, this time about 50 metres, always got to be easy, nice, use a lot of the exit curb, and fire down the second DRS zone to the Ascari chicane. Nice and easy braking, just about 90 metres. You're going to could have took more of the curb. Careful of the death curb on the inside of Ascari and on the exit. You do not want to take the inside curb on the middle of the corner or in the exit of the corner. Then up the back straight to the parabolica. Take brakes, 70 metres. Misses his apex by quite a bit, so I think Danny Boy is just going to bank something at the moment. It looks to be somewhere in the 23s. It's a 23 for Danny Boy, but Dixie coming through parabolica next behind. He's going to be somewhere in the 23s himself. It's a 23.8 for Dixie, so very close so far. Who do we have next coming round? We have a Haas. Albo does a 24.2 in his Haas. That's actually a reasonably good lap there for the Haas, but ENTXJ drops in 22.6 in his Alfa Romeos. Judgy slots into P2 now, 23.7 in the Ferrari. Ryan Sam in the Aston Martin, though, 22.3 as ENTXJ locks up the brakes into one and has to scuttle across the skate road. It's Matoman now in a 22.1 in the Williams. That's a stonking lap there for Matoman. So the lap time's really starting to wind up, and I think you will see the session change as we progress. On board now with Bossman in his Alfa Romeo, looking fairly competitive through sector 2. He takes a lot of curb through the middle of Ascari, exits the chicane very well as he blasts now up to parabolica. Let's see exactly where he can slot his Alfa Romeo. His teammates got that up in P3 at the moment, but can Bossman get up there close to him? And he's going to get out the lap, so he's not going to compete the lap at the moment. We've got Nick on one. He is in his Williams. I think you're on a cart. Go the outside view and let's watch the splits as they come up. I know Nick's coming in, that's a bit blind, as Dixie on his second run goes on to pole in a 22 flat, so he finds a lot of time in his second run. Tyre deg Italy is reasonably low as well, so one stop works. Medium soft is the way, or soft medium. When you've got the free choice of tyre, you want to try and start the race on the medium. Take the softs in the later part of the race. It's always going to be a better race tyre for you when you get a bit less fuel in the car. It'll be interesting to see as the time goes as well. As this, the two McLaren boys maybe looking here at a tow lining up, but where is Nick going to put the Williams? He goes into P5 and a 22.7, and look at that grid starting to stack up now. Where is our next man? Pedro got his teammate. I think they're trying to work the tow, but he's way too far ahead. It's not working out well at all. Very hesitant through his Ascari with Pedro. The rear car trying to let go and exit as well, so he's got to be very careful of that. So maybe just trim the wing out to try and get some straight line speed. It's going to be a race over DRS train. That's really not going to help him through parabolica as well. Adam's too close. That's going to give him some dirty air, and there's no point towing to the line. You're never going to gain anything there. But Pedro goes P2 unless he's going to go for a second run. So he is going to go for the second run. Adam tries to slingshot him away. Pedro stays well away from that curb in turn 1. It is a bit of a killer these days. He used to be able to really breach the apex there and take a lot of the inside curb on the entrance to the first chicane as the extremist. And the Alpine goes on a 21.7, our first man into the 21s. Pedro a little couple of tenths up, but he's going to run out of ERS and he invalidates the lap, so that'll be that lap over. Maz's spin not on one at the moment, but where is our man Mr. Rage? He's coming through the last corner, taking a hell of a lot of the exit curb and parabolica. Where can he put the Haas? And he goes up to P11, he gets himself, he could get through to Q2 there, and Pedro's out. Oh, Pedro's dropped the car. So he will go through, but he will start P15. unless I don't think people are going to find enough time to maybe knock him out, but yeah, an interesting one for sure. Pedro dropped the car what looked to be at the first Lesmo there. Bossman going to be our next one round. So who's all in the chat this evening? Welcome, welcome, hello. Hope you're all well. Maz's spin. Is he just retired from the session? I think that might just be a retirement from the session because he should have dropped down to the bottom of the 15. So I think he's just retired from the session. He thinks he's going to get through in that 22.5, and I would tend to agree there. I don't think he's going to lose out at that time. I'll jump up over the Bossman though. He comes up to the sector 1 split, and chicane number 2, 26.9, so he's looking reasonably competitive here. Careful on the entrance curve there. Picks the throttle up nicely. He definitely uses 4th gear as well. I think that's the better gear personally myself, especially if you're a no traction runner. Uses the apex absolutely beautifully in the entrance of the first Lesmo. Chunks the curb in the second Lesmo. Oh, and he just hit the throttle too hard, and it's brought the rear of the car round. Lucky enough, hits nose first, takes the wing off, but still in the session. And does he have a little bit of time? He does have time to get a lap in the session, so plenty of time to go. So Extremist leads the way. Dixie P2, Mataman 3, Nick P4, Ryan Sam P5, Mazespin 6, JN 7, Helmet 8, Greenfingers 9, Mr. Rage P10, Volkspop 11, Mitch 12, Albo 13, Danny Boy 14, Pedro, as we've seen, retired at that first Lesmo. He is out now. He will start at best P15, Judgy in 16, Mitzimat in 17, Scooby Stew 18, and Bossman in P19. Of course, Judgy, Mitzimat, Scooby Stew, Bossman, all the guys in the drop zone because it's full qualifying. So Nick gets his Williams to P4. That was an improvement. JN takes on an out lap. It may actually be on an in lap now. 22.6 for him. Volkswagen doing a lot of laps in the Mercedes, so he maybe have some fuel in the car. He's going to do his best to get out of the way of Ferrari here. It's just judged on his out lap though, so he's not going to be pushing it very quickly. And I think as it stands, we have everybody either on an in lap or an out lap or in the box. So we'll go to Judgy. I think he's going to be a lead man. Oh, see, it's a big moment we get on board with Judgy just as he drops it on his out lap into Shikari, and that'll be, don't want to do too much wheel spinning there, that'll be the tyres absolutely baked. So I think it's going to be Mitzi, man. Oh, and he's just got disqualified for going the wrong way. That is harsh. So Judgy will be out of the session because he's been disqualified for driving the wrong way, although he was just trying to stun the car, so I don't understand really what's happened there. As Mixima opens the lap, I'm going to stay with him on the broadcast cam and quickly run for a restroom break. Chat, I will be back. So I am back, chat. Good evening. So where are we? Mitsima on his lap, just coming up to Ascari, so we've caught him roughly in the midway point of the lap. And he is absolutely flying, 8/10 up on his lap at the moment, so he's looking to go low 23s. He definitely should, if he keeps the lap neat and tidy, gets a good exit out of the Parabolica, he should get himself up to close to the top 10 if he finds some more time through the last couple of corners, maybe even more. Brings the car and misses Apex by about 3 feet. But he's going to choose the wider line on exit. He's going to go all the way. Where can he improve to? He's going to be a mid 22. Actually gets himself into P8, and the grid's starting to look even more stacked. Yeah, Adam, I think mine's was bugged. That's the chat just only loaded in. I don't know when you put that comment, mate, but I don't know what's going on with my YouTube. I might need to see if the app actually needs updated, and that's why things aren't filtering through so good. So what we see guys run again? Well, we're definitely not seeing Mazepin, Albo, Pedro or Judze, that's for sure. But will we see any of the guys? I think everybody from probably P7 upwards, P8 upwards is pretty safe. I think Fingers, Mr. Rage, well, they maybe won't. Mr. Rage is out on track actually at the moment, and he is a couple of thousandths up as he comes up to the Scary Sheen. Can he find some more time? He is 2.5 tenths up now, so Mr. Rage could get that Haas up inside the top 10 here. Oh, and it just looks so delicate on the exit, and he's going to get out the lap. So no more for Mr. Rage. And look at the traffic starting to come out now, so Greenfinger's going to have to be careful. He's got somebody coming through the first chicane. It's ENTXJ, he just needs to do his best. Fingers using first gear, that scares the life out of me. GNTX still battling on in his lap. I don't think he knows maybe that he's got a fast car not far behind, or maybe he feels that he can just push on through. Hopefully these guys do their best. Mitsumat has retired. Oh, and Fingers just took that inside curb to try to take the fast line, and it just doesn't let you do it anymore. So enters Lesmo 1, keeps it nice and tidy, not using too much of the exit curb either. We'll go on board as he chucks it into the apex, just to stay away from the inside curb as well. It can unsettle the car. If the setup's right though, you can abuse it. See, comes down second DRS straight. Again up to Ascari, again some traffic ahead as well. It's not going to do him any favours as the guys get very close. ENTXJ's on an outlap as well, so not really sure exactly what was going on there. He's pushed the tyre quite hard there because Fingers on a hot lap and ENTXJ on an outlap, so he's maybe spiked temps into the tyres just a little bit too early. Fingers doesn't improve, it's the second down, maybe got some fuel in the car, just trying to get some runs in. Who else do we have? Danny Boy is on a lap, can he find any time? We'll stay with him as he comes through Lesmo 2. We always seem to catch people at the Lesmos. So down to sector 2 he comes. Is he going to be up? Extremist has had enough for the session, he thinks he is safely through, and again I would wholeheartedly agree. And we've had somebody have a moment, I think that's ENTXJ, and that could have been, because I said, just pushing the tyre too hard on the outlap. Just try to get aggressively with the first chicane, and too hot in the rears, spun them up, spun the car. Danny takes a much better entrance into the Parabolica. If he keeps it nice and tight, stay tight, get it pinned to that line. Can he improve? Oh, he practically does an identical lap time to his first run. Let's see, we've got a Ferrari. There's Fingers coming through. Oh, and Helmaid's out. Helmaid's dropped it for us. Ascari's picking a lot of victims. At this point we're not even going to have a Q2 session. Everybody's going to go through. We've lost 5, 6, 7, 8. We're only going to have one driver being eliminated if one more person retires in Q1. Oh no, have I just jinxed it? I think we have. That's it. No one now will go out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 10 drivers for 2 qualifying sessions to go, so every day in Q2 can be absolutely delicate as they like, and they now have a totally free tyre choice. Just get through, you're all in Q3. Every driver that is now in the session is into Q3. So take it easy, stop pushing. Stop pushing the tyres, save your sets, don't use them, no need. We've lost 9 drivers in the first session of qualifying. Ouch. So, everybody just needs to chill now. No need to push. Mitch, stop pushing the car. Mitch has went P6. What the hell? Mitch, let's go. Mr. Rage got his Haas into P9 in the end as well. That's a solid effort, but as I said, they just need to stop. The guys are going through. They have no reason to stress. They don't need to do a push lap. There's only 10 drivers left, and the full of qualifying So everybody now goes through. They get a free. They could do a 2-minute 50 lap in the second qualifying session on the hard compound tyre, and they are still going through to Q3. So guys crashing out has done all these people that are still on track or in the box at the moment. They have just been given a massive lifeline. Free tyre choice. What more could you ask for in a Q2 session? And in the end, Pedro, a first retirement, because of all the retirements, he starts P12. He's got to be ecstatic. Yeah, mates, just go to the line. It's faster. It'll end the session, and that will be us going on to Q2. So we lost, unfortunately. There are 9 drivers, as I said. It's not the most exuberant. Adam, how do you feel about your teammate going out in the session? So there we go. Or maybe we have 11 drivers. Actually, we may just have 11. There may be 1 dropout in the next session. But there we go. Pedro, Volksburg, Mitsima, Helmet, Albo, Bossman, Scooby Stew. Judgy was DSQ'd, but the other 7 guys all retired. So we'll have Extremist, Dixie, Matt, Nick, Ryan Sam, Mitch, Mazza Spin, ENTXJ, Mr. Rage, Fingers and Danny Boy all battle out in Q2. As I say, only 1 driver will drop, and then 10 drivers will go in to Q3. So they're not going to have the delicate choice of a slow lap on their tyre, but as long as they get a reasonable lap in, then yeah, Mr. Rage needs something huge to try and sling that. If Mr. Rage can pull that Haas into Q3, I would be very impressed. He needs to try and steal a toe from somewhere, talk nice to another driver, maybe an opposing team, and say, look, I need a bit of help here. The Haas straight line speed is absolutely diabolical. Please pull me along a little bit. I would like to be in that Q3 session, as we have Dixie and I think it's going to be Ryan Sam out early. Ryan Sam is a man. No, it's Mazzy, Spin and Dixie. So let's get some telemetry back on the board and see what tyres. Extremist is on the Inter. He's keeping his cards very close to his chest. But a nice mix of tyre choice at the moment. That could change. So Mitch, Mazzy Spin leads away, then Dixie, then Mitch. Then we have, I think it's going to be Extremist, just coming out of 1, yes it is. Fingers not far behind, and then the rest of the grid still in the box at the moment. So Mazzy Spin's going to be our first man, and he is going to go for the medium run. Invalidated his outlap, but that's no big deal. As long as you don't invalidate the second run, or your main run, you should be absolutely fine. So here we go, Mazzy Spin gets out the parabolica nice and clean. He's going to take that nice tight line to the line. DRS open as he barrels now at 209 miles an hour, or 210, into the braking zone of turn 1. He's going to smash the pedal at 100 metres. Stays well away from the inside curb at 1, takes a nice apex at 2. Gets on the power, nice couple of early shifts just to drop the power, especially on the medium compound tyre, just to get it down. Through turn 3, it's hardly a corner, absolutely flat out. You barrel up to turn 4 and the second chicane of the racetrack, 26.9 for his first sector. Again, takes 2 lovely apexes, clips the grass a little bit on the exit. That's going to snap the car out and push him a little bit into the inside of the track. The exit takes a lot of the curb on the inside, so he's a little bit tentative. I think that maybe moment there's just made them be a little bit hesitant, but because a much better exit out of the second Lesmo now barrels down the second DRS zone up to a scary chicane. Let's see how committed he dares to be. Again, brake pedal at 90 metres through the chicane. exits nicely. Sorry, small interruption there, chat. So Maz is spinning it to the line. He's going to be 23, so it's a 23.8 so far. I think the deltas are reasonable. Dixie next, he goes 23.7 in his McLaren. So we have the Red Bull Mitch on his soft compound tyre at 22.7, and looking at that lap time, Mitch could possibly have went through in the sauce, but Mitch looking absolutely mighty. Mitch on P1 on his Red Bull, looking absolutely stellar. But for somebody have a moment out of chicane number 2, and I think that's caught a few drivers out, and they've all checked up a little bit now. But Danny Boy, 55.8 for the middle sector. Oh, he has to double take in the entrance to Shikari on. Oh, you scare me, Danny, that death curb. You're running that like crackhead. But respect up to Parabolica. I think he's going to be a little down, and definitely it will be a lap where he could definitely improve. Takes a lovely entrance to Parabolica this time around. To the line he goes. It's going to be a 24.2 for Danny. An extremist out on the inter tyre. I don't think he understands that there's 11 people here and he needs to do a lap or he will go out. I'm not sure. I'm unsure. So is Dixie going to improve? I don't think he is. Oh, he does massively. A 23 flat now for Dixie. Green Fingers as well, and his Ferrari does a 23.4 in the medium compound tyre. Oh, Nixon validated his lap in the exit, the second Lesmo. Ryan Sam on and out lap. So Mitch leading away in the soft compound, then Dixie Fingers P2 and P3. Mazepin P4, Danny 5, Extremist P6. And ENTXJ, Nick, Matterman, Rage and Ryan Sam all still to set a lap time in the session. The story of the day, there's got to be Mitch on that top step at the moment. Fingers, good man there, getting out of the way, and Nick coming through, and now it's hot lap. Wasn't sure if Fingers was going for another one, but he got out at 27 flat for Mr. Rage in sector 1, so he's close to being on the pace here. He's not a million miles away. Oh, but the car just does not want to get in as he has a big snapper oversteer on the exit the first Lesmo. Gets it into the second Lesmo, nice, powers out very well as two DRS open down the back straight he goes. Can he be nice and committed through Ascari, find the lap time back that he's lost? It's going to be a 55-1 for sector 2, so lap time's looking reasonable. Gets it into Ascari beautifully, stays away for the Death Cup the inside, gets the power on nice. So this was a very clean run through Ascari, and I think that might just give back to Nick a little bit of the lap time that he maybe got away from him in the first Lesmo. How well does he get into Parabolica? Front of the car just struggling a little bit to come in, but he takes the tighter line, the faster line as well, and he's going to come to the line. Where can he go? He goes P3 on a 23.2, and that's a stellar lap in the Williams. We have Jay, he is also on a lap as well, I think. 55.3 for Jay at the second sector split. He looks nice and committed. Oh, and the car, the car threatened to drop there, but Jay balances it on the throttle and steering and just power slides his way out of Scary. That was some mighty car control. Gets it into Parabolica. That's the best apex we've seen him to take. He takes out the wider line. He chooses to hold the wider line as well to the finish line. 23.3 for Jay. Probably could probably gain a tenth as well if he holds that tighter line out of Parabolica. So Matoman, how is he getting on in his run? He was a 55.4 in sector 2, so He was looking about the same as ENTXG. He's probably going to go somewhere in the mid-23s here for Matt. So up to Barry Bollock himself. How well does he take the apex? He gets right in it, even clips the curb on the inside. And another driver using the wider line. I'm intrigued by these wide lines out of Parabolica. But Mataman goes into P6 on a 23.5. Mr. Rage now out in a soft on the Haas, the dog, the little piece of poop that is the Haas. So let's see Sector 2 split. Low 55s, he's a 54.6 in Sector 2. Mr. Rage is absolutely flying in a soft compound tyre. He could be getting up here to attack maybe the first or second row of the grid. He's definitely going to go through. He's going to be in the alternate strat, but in the slower car, if you want to get through, you're going to maybe have to take the other tyre just to get there. So Mr. Race to the line, he takes the better line out at the exit of Parabolica, and he's going to go a 22.5 onto P1 in the Haasmobile. That is a mighty lap there from Rage, and looking at that again, could have probably got through on the mediums. So Extremist has an issue now. That running in the medium, if he's not got any running in, or he's dialed into what the inter tyre was doing because he was on it early in the session. One mistake, the medium lap goes from you. So let's see how he goes. We know he's got pace. Let's just see how much pace, and I think Matoman there improved. He did to P6. Bear with me 1 minute to chat. I am back. Good evening, Nick. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. So, is Extremist up 54.8? Extremist looking very strong in the mediums right now. He could be close to dislodging Mr. Rage here off that top spot. And that's going to put Danny Boy under pressure, and his Alpine teammate about to knock another teammate out. That is a sore one to take, but only one can go through. Or they both could go through, but as it stands at the moment, if Danny Boy does not come back out and chooses to stay on the medium, Extremist using that tighter line, and he is going to do a 22.7, goes on to P2, and that is, well, there you see the pace, 22.7 against a 22.5 in P1 on the offset of tyre. I am very well, Nick, very well. I hope you're well too, sir. I'm doing good. So the running order as it stands: Mr. Rage 1, Extremist 2, Mitch 3, Dixie P4, Ryan Sam 5, Nick P6, Mataman 7, ENTXJ P8, Fingers P9, Mazza Spin P10, and Danny Boy at the moment in that drop zone in P11. First sector where you lost the time, and I thought you would be close to Mr. Rage there, Extremist, so I was expecting a little bit more in the lap. Your Sector 2 split was right in there with the fastest times of the session as well, so I know going by the Sector 2 split, if you have a good Sector 2, it's not like you just lose the time somewhere, so I know there was maybe a 10th or 2 somewhere in the lap. And Sector 1 you say where it was. So still though, that is a solid lap. I don't think you're going to drop out now on that. So you go safely through to Q3 for that pole shootout, and I expect to see you right up there. So Danny Boy needs to think about heading out on track any time now, or that's going to be qualifying over. So he's got about 25 seconds to get out his box, otherwise he will not get that second run or that lap in. Nick and Rage, Ryan, Sam, all happy with their time, so they've had enough for the session. They're going to sit back and relax and get themselves in the zone to go for the shootout in Q3. So, Danny Boy is out. That is it. He's not going to run the softs. I think he'd be happy with P11 fresh tyre. It's not a bad position to start early. The new compound. So that's going to be it over. Anybody out on a lap can just get off the lap. No point burning any extra pace out the tyre if you don't have to. Danny Boy is not out the box, so he is not going to improve, so he will be out of the session. So if you're on a lap, unless Mitch maybe try and improve. If he can improve in his medium compound tyre, that would be huge for Mitch. If he can start the race in that, yes, I would be very, very impressed. So come on, Mitch, let's see what you got in your mediums, boy. Let's stay with the White Bull for now on. He's not, he's just going to come out it, so maybe just getting a little bit of feel. ENTXJ is a 10th up. Again, is it a lap you want to take out the tyre? Probably not. Everybody round about you. Mazespin now on the soft slots himself into P2. Puts Green Fingers down to P10, but as I said, the session is over because Danny Boy's not come out, so that will be it for now. ENTXJ is looking committed to the lap, so we'll stay with him as he comes round Parabolica for the last time, and it will be the last car in this session to attack the last corner, and he improves to P7, finds a 10th in that second run. So Danny Boy will be our driver out of Q2. Mr. Rage, Mazespin, Extremist, Mitch, Dixie, Ryan Sam, Nick, Matoman, Fingers and ENTXJ all go to the pole shootout. Who is your money on, chat? I think Extremist is looking strong. I expect to see Dixie find another couple of tenths. Mr. Rage is going to be pretty close in that Haas. I think he knows there's going to be quite a big deficit to Lights Extremist in that, especially when he's only went 2 tenths quicker on a tyre deficit. But Mr. Rage maybe sneak a top 5 in the Haas. Who knows? But Mitch in P4, that is a stunning job from the South African. He's Van der Linden it up. Just none of that DTM nonsense, Mitch. Let's see what your type are up to, crashing people out. Only time has to be in P. Well, you never know, Rage. Change. They could be the fastest car in the grid. It's unlikely, but be nice to see. They need to get their finger out though, because Andretti's going to make an announcement this week that I think they're taking over Sauber, the Sauber side at Alfa Romeo, so it's going to be Alfa Romeo Andretti Motorsport, and Haas now has American competition, so that's quite big. You can't be looking to be the worst of the two Americans, right? I'd like to see close to that top 5 here though, Rage. I know, as I say, the tyre deficit's a thing there, but let's see what you got. I expect something good. So Q3 we go. Why does it always take my telemetry away and my data? That's nonsense. So tyre, it's always going to be tyre, they're always going to be on the softs. So who's the first to jump? 12 minutes of course in Q3. Not quite a track where you can ram the 3 runs in. I think Extremist is going to be our first man. He's going out to lump the pressure on the grid. He knew he had some time in the medium compound, so he maybe feels like if I can apply some early pressure on the grid and set a really strong benchmark time, then it's their mistakes to make. that's a good question, Jay. Why has ENTXJ dropped out of qualifying? That's interesting. You did just improve at the end of the session as well, I did see that. You were the only man out. You found a 10th and a half, you went from P9 to P7, session ended. Yeah, I'm a bit confused by that one myself, mate. Don't really understand. So I assume you're now starting P10, but I assume if that puts you out then you get a new tyre? Do you get a new tyre for... Does that mean you get P10 fresh tyre? That's maybe not bad. Strange. So Extremis is going to be our first man round the parabolica. Let's stay on board for one big hot lap of Monza. So here we go. Over the line he goes. DRS wide open. Down into turn one he goes. It's going to be a big smash of the brake pedal. 100 metres, slam it on. Careful on that inside curve. Used to be able to take a lot, but now you can't. Small stab of the throttle just to get you through the middle of the corner. Exits turn two very nicely. Gets the power down beautifully. Stay on the inside line. The minimal distance up to turn 3 or 4. This is turn 4. That's turn 3, but start that corner again. Braking about 100 metres. Take a little bit of the entrance, then nice and easy on the exit curve. You use a lot all the way to the grass. Then first let's more chuck the car in. Use the banking to hurl the car round. Use the exit curve as much as you dare. Lesmo number 2 again. Use a little dip in the road. Chunk the apex on the inside. Then DRS open as you come down the back straight. Heading up to Ascari. He's going to try and steal a little bit of a toe, but Dixie giving him absolutely none of it. He's like a brick wall driving there. No slipstream for you, sir, he says. Through Ascari he goes. On the exit now, stays away from all the curbs. Gets a reasonable exit. He's probably left a 10th or 2 on the board there through Ascari, so... yes, up to the last corner he goes. Nice entrance into parabolica, gets it nicely down to 5th gear. Exits it up, pulls to the inside line. To the line he goes. It's going to be a mid-21 for Extremis on the board early. 21.6, but we've got Mazepin not far behind. He does a 23.2. Then they're really filtering in. Dixie's just opening a lap, so he's not going to be on a hot one. But it's Nick next to come round the parabolica, and then he's someone just not far behind. Nick does a 21.9, gets into P2. Then Matoman gets into P4 and a 26.9. Finger slots into or a 26.9. And we've had a few. Sorry, Brian Slam gets in there in P3 and a 22.2. That many times coming in there late, I could not keep up. So 3/10 split Extremis to Nick. That's a lot closer than I expected at the moment. Some drivers, Mr. Rage, I think he may only have actually one tyre. No, he should have an extra soft. So the first runs are done. Dixie actually on a lap. Hopefully he gets through all the traffic. Through the second Lesmo, nice and easy. Could have took a lot more of the curb there on the inside. Let's keep an eye on the sector split though. We're hitting 55 flushies in Q1, so how much is that? 54.1. He's found 9/10 from his Q2 time on that medium compound tyre. Nice and easy through Ascari. Gets a really good exit. Up the back straight now. Nothing but clean air in front of them. Absolutely no cars behind either. It's all about parabolica now. Tuck the car nicely into the apex. Pick up the power. Stay nice and tight. Keep the car turning right. Stay tight, stay tight, stay tight. Now he takes the wide line. Another driver choosing to lose a 10th to the line. 21.8 for Dixie now. He slots into P2 in his first run. And I think most of our drivers all now coming in. Mataman going for a second run in his, and he finds a lot of time. He goes to a 22 flat, gets himself up to P4. Fingers done a 23.0, he gets himself to P6. Mazepin a 23.2, he says P7. Then we get Mitch now opening a lap. Where can Mitch put the car in his first run in the session? Brakes nicely for turn 1, takes it into the first exit. Oh, he's been a bit lazy on the exit of 2 there, but keep it nice and tight now through 3. Hold the nice inside line. Can he find some time back in the second chicane? Oh, and he looks nice on the curbs there, and he gets a really good exit out of the chicane as well, does Mitch. Let's see how good he is through the Lesmos. Chuck it nice and in tight to the apex. It's absolutely beautiful there. Lesmo number 2, can he again? Yep, another, yep, absolutely brilliant on the curb, on the inside. Use it to rotate the car and get yourself out the corner. Now, DRS straight number 2, how committed is Mitch willing to be in his first run through Ascari? Chucks it in nicely, gets all over the curb. That's a great entrance to Ascari there. Don't use too much of the exit curb, he had to get off throttle there so he knows. Now again, that's going to cost him probably 2 tenths, 3 tenths by the end of the Parabolica. So wherever Mitch goes here, he knows in the exit of Ascari alone, he can go 3 tenths quicker. Absolutely, Mitch's apexes and corners, second and third sector have been absolutely sublime. To the line he goes, it's going to be a 23.2 for Mitch, but as I say, he easily comes down into the 22s if he gets Ascari right. URL Nick doing his best to stay out of the way. Mitch maybe going to go for a second blast here. Still a little bit lazy, the car just looking a little lazy into 2 there. Mr. Rage puts the Haas up into P6, I never realised he was on a run there. So P6 in the Haas, 22.4, and I think Rage should be reasonably happy with that time. That's an absolute solid time for the Haas. So who do we have on laps? Fingers in laps. I think we're all in laps now, so the running order for the first runs in Q3 is Extremist and Dixie P1 and 2, Nick and Matt P3 and 4, Ryan, Sam and Rage P5 and 6, Fingers and Mitch P7 and 8, Maz's Spin P9. Oh, yeah, ENTXJ, that will throw you despite your time, and you will still need to start on that tyre, mate, unfortunately. Ouch. So, the little lull, we have Nick actually heading out on his outlet. We'll get on board, see how he goes. Oh, wait, what? Not really sure what happened there, or it was just showing me his previous lap time. So Nick, oh, that was sounding me, oh, and he's went a little bit, again, the car's just not looking sharp in that entrance to 2. I think everybody's struggling a little bit on initial bite in the front end of the car. Once it gets deeper into the lap, the front end seems to come to them. So I don't know if it's a temperature related thing, maybe something need to try a good bit of weaving up that back straight, see if you can turn the fronts right on and the temp, get them right into the temperature zone and have a nice aggressive entrance into turn 1. And see if that helps the exit of 2. Albo has left the session. Oh no, Haasboy is dropped out. And I think Extremist leaving for his last run of the session, so he is going to be the benchmark driver in qualifying. Can Dixie find the 2 tenths he needs? Can he bring the challenge to Extremist? I seen Dixie when I was on board with his first run. He definitely has lap time on the board. Does he want to just go caution to the wind? Or is he happy just finding a tenth or 2 and maybe taking that front row start? All will be clear in about 3 minutes time. Yes, you can, Adam. You missed your apex at the first Lesmo. You missed your apex at the second Lesmo, and you were hopeless from the entrance to Ascari. Find the 2 exits and find that apex. There's 3 tenths straight away. Albo, no, it says you've left the session. Somebody's going to need to drop you an invite, buddy. Says you left at the bottom of my screen. Maybe one of the guys not in the session drop you a little invite, and as long as you get back in before the start of quali, you should be good. So Extremist choosing to let the tyres cool, and then so a cool down spot. Then he's going to walk the fronts. Oh, he does not want to spend any time on the grass there. So Extremist is going to be your first man. Nick isn't validated, just wanted to double check that. So, still going to be in the sector 1 split. Can he be up? Let's watch some broadcast view of hot laps. Oh, and he misses his apex at 1. He gets a nice exit, apex at 2 and exit though, but that missing the apex of turn 1 may just cost him a little bit of time. Let's see how he goes at the split. And he's nearly 2/10 down, so he's got some time to find through sector 2 and sector 3. He gets a lovely exit out of the second chicane. Let's see how neat and tidy he is through the Lesmo. He's been good here all afternoon. Using all the exit curb in Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, takes it in, uses the curb to rotate the car, lovely exit again. DRS open down the back straight he goes. Has he found any time through the first, the middle sector? Has he got back that 2/10? He is not, he's nearly 3/10 down now. He's lost some more time and he's not going to get another lap, so Dixie finds some time and that's going to be the lap gone. No, it's not, he just gets away with that one. Up the back straight he goes. Can he find any time through Parabolica? Is there anything left in the taps for Extremist? Can Dixie dislodge him? We'll need to check as he comes round the last, as Extremist gets round the last corner. Has he got any time at all in the pocket? He finds half a 10, so what is Dixie doing? He's a 10th and a half down through sector 1. Is there any more time in the pocket? Mitch has finished his session on a 22.2. We've got green fingers, I think it is. Last hot lap of the session. Is he up in? He's a 19.20, 21. I think he is going to find some time here. He gets a 22.3, gets himself up to P7. Then we've got an Aston Martin. Is it Ryan Sam? It's not. It's Mazepin coming through the Parabolica now. To the line he goes. It's going to be a mid-22. He finds 6/10 of a second, 22.6. Then we have Mr. Rage through the Parabolica. He's a 10th up. Can he find a little bit more? Can he get up close to that top 5? He goes to P7 on a 22.3. Only half a 10th in it for Ryan Sam. Who next? I think it's going to be Dixie. Dixie is through the last corner. Has he got any time? Can he find the 3/10s to dislodge the Extremist? No, he can't. He only finds a couple of hundreds. Nick's out his lap. Matoman through the Parabolica. Can he get on the front row? Yes, he can. 22.1 for Matt. Dislodges Dixie from P2 and gets himself on the front row of the grid. And that'll be qualifying over because Nick's on an invalidated lap. And that is qualifying over. What a session. What a session. Very good stuff. So Extremist and Matoman lock out the front row. Then Dixie and Nick on row 2. Ryan Sam, Mitch row 3. Rage and Fingers will be on row 4. And then it'll be Mazepin and ENTXJ on row 5. And once we filter out of this, we will be able to see the rest of the grid. Oh, got all the incidents. Naughty boys. Let's see, speeding track limits. These could be penalties coming up for guys in the race, so that's an interesting one to have a little glance at there. A few guys, Nick may suffer a bit in the race if he can't keep the exceeding track limits down. That could be penalties. So interesting. So no brakes, straight in, formation lap, 50% format as always. I think every league runs 50%. And it should be a race of tactics, I would think. So starts at 25 seconds. Let me get the restroom before the race. So, I'm back. So, some food for thought. Race terms, Italy. It's big old drag to turn 1, so start is critical. Getting off the line needs to be good. Then, a good little tip I would give the drivers is give your apex an inch and you will go a mile. So don't be attacking the curbs early, do not be trying to drive hard. Give your apex an inch and you'll go a mile. Trust me on that one. I'm not saying stay well away, but just don't be attacking the apexes, just roll in, roll out, and let the race come to you. So, the full rows of the grid: Extremist Matt row 1, Dixie and Nick row 2, Ryan, Sam and Mitch row 3, Rage and Fingers row 4, Mazespin and JNTEX row 5, Danny Boy Pedro row 6, Volks Bob and Mitsima row 7, Helmaid and Albo row 8, Bossman and Scooby row 9, and Judsey on his lonesome at the back there on row 10. A good day in the office for the Alpine. Williams boys though looking very tasty this evening at Monza. Let's get some things on the board as well. Let's look for position changes for the start of the race. Let's have a look at some tyres as well. Where is tyres? So we've got in our top 10 Mitch, Rage, Mazespin all in the softs. Then outside the top 10 Volkswagen, Mitsima, Albo, Judsey softs, and then every other driver on the medium. So they all line up. Let's go to the back of the grid and Judsey rolling in. Let's get that on position changes. We'll watch our gainers as we head through the first. But Judsey rolls in to his grid spot, and we will get underway for SSR's Thursday Realistic League at Monza. So we have 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out and away we go. And it seems to be a very good start on the front row from Extremist. Matt's going to tuck into the slipstream behind. Real Nick now getting alongside Dixie into turn 1, and I think there's a Haas and Mr. Rage looking down the inside. They're looking to file through now. Let's actually filter back through the grid. I think everybody doing their best to get out of turn 1. Is a bit claustrophobic for some of the drivers, but they're all getting through pretty safely. Mr. Rage though, he's managed to gain 3 positions off the start. That soft compound tyre working an absolute treat early. So everyone filing through now. We've got some side-by-side action between Fingers and Mitsima Pedro. I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on there. Green Fingers has got some damage, so they're going to have to be careful here. Oh, and Helmaid's launch for Volkswagen round the inside. Helmaid gets through as well. Fingers get damage, and that's costing a lot of positions. But let's see what's happening up front. Matoman not pushing too much. Nick behind, he's pretty chilling in the 2 Williams boys, but look at Mr. Rage all over the back. And Nick on a soft compound tyre, but the Haas, look, it just does not have the straight line speed. It's not in the car. He looks to maybe send one up the inside on the soft compound tyre. On for the big moment, Skibby still round. That is scary, and Ascari will claim more victims as the race goes on, as Extremist sets the fastest lap, as he would the lead car on the first lap. So biggest gainers off the start: Judsey up 4, Pedro up a couple, Bossman, Mitsima, okay, free on. Extremist nearly dropped the car. That's going to let Mattleman through, Rage through. Everybody's going to file through here. I'm not quite sure how it's all going to play down. Nick gets a big batch of wheel spin. Dixie, has he picked up some damage? No, he's not. I think he's just keeping himself out of harm's way for now. He probably knows his races with Ryan Sam, and he just needs to keep the advantage to him. Extremist and Mr. Rage now side by side. Nick too heavy in the brakes, nearly locks the rears and turns the car round. He's now going to come under pressure all over the back from Dixie, but there's not quite a move there this time around, and I think we've had another spinner. Not quite sure exactly, and we've had a moment of something. I think it's Mitsima came round, but Mr. Rage now chases Mataman in the lead. Extremist having that moment into 1. He hit the curb on the entrance at 1. It's fishtailed the rear of the car, and it's just not quite allowed him to hit his apex at 2, got him all out of shape, and it's allowed 2 drivers to filter through, almost more as well. So look at this, Dixie and Nick now going side by side. We'll watch this, and Dixie just goes through in the McLaren. The McLaren's showing some very, very strong straight line speed. So Dixie looking punchy. He wants to get back up onto the back of this pack. Mr. Rage looking very, very good on his softs at the moment, but struggling a little bit, pushing on. He's going to defend this inside line as Extremist bombs down the outside line. But Range, look how late he can deep, and it's a big send on Mattman. Oh, I think he's missed the corner. He's going to have to give the position back to Matt, but I think he'll get away with one on Extremist. Let's look further back. Where is the fight? Is Pedro now gaining on Danny Boy? A bit twitchy, Danny. Oh, he nearly drops the car. Is Pedro going to go for a move here? Danny covers off the inside line. Not quite this time around, but Pedro's still trying to look at the game positions on the first few laps of this race. The grid's staying reasonably close as well. Pedro probably wants to get through Danny Boy though, because he needs to be on that train on Danny Boy's. Oh, and Pedro couldn't get out of the way, try to get through. After having the moment, he should have probably just hit on the brakes, and that will bring the safety car out. And that was somebody else in the wall. I've seen somebody else in the wall, and poor Pedro. He just couldn't get out of the way. And that is that one on Bossman. Picks up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So Mr. Rage now. Does he try the hard? Does he box off and go to the hards? Or is he just going to stay in his soft track position? Probably feels better. He is. He's going to continue. He's got no reason to box at the moment. So Mitch gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. No, Mitch, he's going to get off his soft. Mitch maybe going possibly. He's going to the medium. It will run to the end. It was an interesting one. Extremist. Kinda close. I maybe think, me personally, and I know it looks a lot different for your car, so I can only say from spectating, I think giving Matoman the position back was fair. I think it's borderline. It was a very close one between yourself and Rage, although you're absolutely right, he did miss the corner, so maybe you feel that I could understand why you feel he should be given that position back. I can totally understand that. But it's done now. You've got the pace. The Haas is on the other compound. You just need to make sure that if Matoman's going to run away, you get through, and that's your race today. So let's see stops. Sewell took a pit. Mazepin, Mitch Helmet, Elbow Fingers, Sam, Scooby Stu. The rest stayed out. Let me grab a bottle of water. So, lap 4, safety car out. Mataman leads the way. Rage P2, Extremist 3, Dixie 4, Nick 5. Volks Bob 6, Bossman P7, Judsey P8, Ian TXG 9, Mazespin 10, Mitch 11, Helmet 12, Albo 13, Fingers 14, Ryan Sam 15, Mitzy Matt 16, and Scooby Stu in P17. Hards for Mitzy Matt, he's probably going to try and go to the end. Softs for Scooby Stu, Ryan Sam, Helmet. Mazespin and Mitch both went for the mediums, also can go to the end. So, a few interesting strategies still to play out, and how well do these soft guys hold up? So Mataman needs to just be smart about his restart. He's got a car that struggles in straight line speed behind him. So if he picks his launch point right, he can get a good run. I think he can maybe drop Extremist. So safety car goes in this lap. A nice early one. Matt becomes the de facto safety car. He controls now the pace of the grid. It's up to him to let the safety car go away, and then he chooses when he gets to... Oh, Nick spun the car. Gavin Wolfsburg gets a 5-second penalty, but I think that'll be one that's able to come off. We need to be careful there, Adam, building that gap and then slowing down like that, mate. That can make the full grid launch. Got to keep your gaps. And off they go. Mataman gets the restart, and Extremist is going to go through. Oh no, it's an illegal overtake, so he's had to get out of that. That'll give Rage the run, but Extremist is going to have the inside of the racing line for into turn 1, and oh, and he's missed his braking now. Extremist has missed the braking now as well, and that's going to allow Mr. Rage to get back through, and it does. Dixie's got a little bit of a run. Let's see what's happening further back. Oh, and there's been a big incident. What's happened? Mazespin. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on here. Oh, Nick's got out of that one. And Metzimat looking for a move there on Ryan Sam, and it's hard compound tyre. You've got to be careful on that curve on the inside line as well as we fill it back through. Look at this. ENTXJ, Judzy, Helmet, all jostling. Helmet going to come for an inside move into the second Lesmo, and he gets the move done. Absolutely tremendous stuff, making absolute bells with the early and fresh soft compound tyre. So Dixie's just got to stay in that train now and drop these guys behind, drop the DRS, and he's going to be very good. He sits with a big ERS advantage to the drivers in front as well. Holds 15 to 20% advantage, so that's going to be on. Look at Mr. Rage, he is absolutely hounding Matman. Mr. Rage will be screaming for some DRS here. He needs something, but look how much he's having to spend the ERS. Mataman pushing on as well, but he's going to come for one here. Mataman will defend the inside line. Mr. Rage has a soft compound tyre, can brake much later. Round the outside to inside to turn 2, and look at Extremist. He's going to look at Mataman now as well on the exit. Mataman maybe losing 2 positions here, but he's going to come back at Mr. Rage. You see the harsh struggles in the straight line speed. Mr. Rage need to get the elbows now out into the second chicane, and that he does. First 4 file on pretty reasonably, and I'm not quite sure what's going on back here. Oh, it's just some pit stops. Sorry about that, guys. So it's all starting to go well for Dixie in terms of the championship battle. He's got a nice big gap to Ryan Sam. He's right in there, in the gaps, and yeah, they are slowly breaking away. Matoman and Extremist having to go defensive. Adam just being a little bit too aggressive there. He needs to not focus on what's happening in the front, just keep running your race. Being in the DRS is all that matters. Oh, we've had a spinner. Judges went round at a Ascari now too. It claims another victim. DRS is active, I think. Not with this lap round, so DRS will now activate after the safety car. Yellow flag in sector 3, I think that's the game just talking absolute nonsense. So, top 4, Mr. Rage, Extremist, Mataman, Dixie, they've got a 2-second gap now to Helmet. Helmet in his soft compound tyre, they're pushing in. He is coming, so that is an interesting one, although the thing is for Helmet, he's going to have to box. Mitzi Matt side by side. Let's watch this one as they come through up into the second game. Will actually get on board. He thinks about sending one on the outside. Mitzi Matt very brave to be a later breaker on the hard compound tyre. Good stuff. Let's filter back through, see how Dixie's get. Oh, what's happened to Matoman? Matoman has fell down to P4. Dixie now in the podium positions. We've had somebody around as well. That's Scooby Stu. Is he out? This could be another safety car. Oh no, he's got going, so he's absolutely fine. Extremist has got a time penalty as well. Let's have a look, actually, 3 seconds. So that's a corner cutting penalty, and a few guys picked up 5 seconds for speed in the pit lane. They're going to have to serve them in the pits too. So Dixie now has a problem. He has lost the DRS. He needs to settle. He's looking on the brakes and the way he's changing gears. He's just a bit erratic. Just relax. Oh no, you didn't lose the DRS as Extremist and Mr. Rage go side by side. We get a nice backwards view of that, a small bit of contact, but Extremist will now go through, and Dixie now needs to put the attack on Mr. Rage. Mr. Rage having absolutely no energy. Dixie will see that red light flashing up ahead, understand that he's got a big advantage now on energy, and can probably pick his moves quite methodically, but Mr. Rage will just be looking now to stay in the DRS. Use the DRS to compensate for the straight line speed that he's losing in the car. His helmet now is getting through Matoman as well. I think Albo having a bit of a tough time in that hassle, and Green Fingers is out. Green Fingers is out. Safety car out. The Mr. Rage surely box now. He gets on the medium tyre, goes to the end of the race. Easy. What do I do if I'm a medium guy? Oh, that is an interesting call. Hards to the end. Nah, stay out, go softs. Stay out for your soft strap. That's what I would do. Stay out for your soft strap. Helmet should have probably got his pit stop out of the way, because by the time the restart comes, the soft tyre's probably going to be past his best running. But there's a big plethora of pit stops coming up, so Mitch now launches himself back up to P4. And it shows how one safety car can change the full complexion of the race. So welcome all, it's SSR's Realistic Thursday evening league, racing on the Racing Hub. Something a little different, some more content, and another night of racing for you guys to tune in and have a little watch. As I say, it's all realistic performance, so the performance as is terms of real life. So if you see guys like Albo and Mr. Rage in P6 and P7 in a Haas, they're doing a bloody good job. So we will probably have one more lap of safety car. Safety car will go in probably the next time round. So the medium guys are probably going to be looking for, they've had two safety cars, so they're probably going to be looking for to go to about 19. Lap 19 and then jump to the softs in a really strong last 8 laps of the race. I think Dixie's got to just stick with it. Podium's on. Those guys on the hards have just got to hang in there. When the race restarts, tyre temps are going to be hugely critical. But with 16 laps to go, Extremist is probably looking most comfortable. Dixie's in the window of the pace. He just doesn't look quite as comfortable through the corners, so he's maybe just chilling. If an opportunity comes under DRS, then go take it, but otherwise I think P2, a track that I don't think Adam enjoys Monza too much, so I think if he can bring home a podium here, he'll be reasonably happy. So I think we'll get the call for in this lap. We may just not though because of ENTXJ and Nick. No, we'll not. So we're going to do one more. Oh, and it's a late call from the safety car there. So Nick and JNTEX go from toddling round to absolutely belting it to catch the pack. So let's get on board with Extremist to see controls the restart. Dixie don't have cold fronts getting into turn 1. Get him working, boy. When is Extremist going to go? And he has launched. Oh, and Extremist has a big oversteer moment. Can Adam pounce on that? He's going to get the ERS absolutely wide open. He's charging. I don't think he's going to get close enough to send one on the brakes into one. He thinks about it. Oh, and he's missed the corner. And that's going to force Extremist wide. Oh, and it's caused a big call up, and he's going to give the position back. That's fair play there from Adam. He's going to compromise some positions, but absolutely tremendous sportsmanlike conduct there from Adam. Extremist is going to defend the inside line here, staying careful. I don't know whether... Oh, and there's been contact, and no! Elmay's been turned round. Oh, there's a mighty crash. There's so many drivers being caught up in the incident. I don't know what's happened there. And Adam somehow gets no damage, so he just needs to fight on through. Big move there for Albo on that. Oh! I'm not quite sure what happens there, but Dixie needs to push on through it. Get through Albo now. Get the energy running. Oh, and I think Dixie may be a wounded car. That does not look good at all. What's going on here? Scooby Stu. Oh, he's got no wing. No wing for Scooby Stu. Dixie need to be careful as he comes round the parabolic. I think Dixie's got some damage as well. Maybe wing damage that we just can't see. So Dixie's probably going to box for the softs. Oh, don't speed in the pit lane, Dixie, you donkey. Your soft run can still get you back in this. So Extremist leads away. Matoman now not quite even chasing him down. Matoman coming under big pressure from Ryan Sam. Ryan Sam's race being massively recovered. Yellow flag in sector 2. Is that somebody round? It's Mitsima. Yes, it is. Another driver picking up damage. So all is not lost for the guys that had to box. Safety cars could still come. Adams went to the hards. Soft tyre would have done the job, but interesting call. But look at Matoman now starting to form a bit of a queue. And Ryan Sam's really pressuring Matoman now. He fancies P2. DRS has been enabled. But Ryan Sam says, I don't need any DRS, I'm coming for some. I want that P2 position and I want it early. Maybe he feels he's got the pace to pressure Extremist. Matoman just can't brake, he's late. He's going to hit the curb on the inside. Oh, and the hard tyres just not got the grip to fight it. Ryan Sam goes through. Mitsumak gets a 5-second time penalty now for speeding in the pit lane. Mitsumak in the box now, loses out. He just got rid of a penalty and he's took one straight back. So Adam and that probably hoping now for safety cars. But the front battle is very much alive with the battle for P2. The Extremist is just away in another world. He is loving life. Here comes Bossman and Matoman down into Ascari, and that's a very, very big move in the brakes here for Bossman. Absolutely sent it, made it stick. Matoman now drops to P4. And he's been chased now by Mr. Rage. on his hard compound tyre. So where is the overtakes going to come? Gaps have scattered out after that big incident we seen on the safety car restart down at the second chicane. I think it was more drivers trying to be respectful and not where they had maybe shot the brakes, missed the corner, try to give the position back, and it maybe caused more hassle than it was worth. Not saying that in a bad way. It's just one of the things. I don't think you can knock sportsmanship at all. Bossman maybe coming to have a look at Ryan Sam here, and I think yes, Mataman picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so the time penalty is starting to flow now. Just over the halfway point of the race, and I think Ryan Sam's P2 is about to come under pressure. He probably doesn't want to fight this too much, Ryan. He's got to recognise Bossman's on the softs. He's probably going to have to box again. So, as Extremist goes in from his medium compound tyre, he's going to box to the soft. And let's see what pace he has got. So Ryan Sam is actually our leader once Bossman pits. As the Extremist falls back to P8 and quite a way off the pack. Can he make up that time? Who knows? So, Mataman has lost the DRS, so he is going to be pressured from the Haas. These guys that went to a new medium will go at the end of the race, that's no questions asked. Does the hard come into the window before the medium switch off later? This is the deciding factor to who wins this race now. Bossman and Ryan both identical on ERS, so not much happening there, but we'll see Mr. Rage, he just can't get the run, even with the DRS it is very, very hard. They're going to go for a big send on the brakes. So we have plateaued. TXJ and Bulge Bob having a bit of a battle as well. The Mercedes proving a very hard car to overtake in the straights. Oh, next round! And that's made Volksbox pad to check up. And TXJ thought about looking at it on the inside on. I think Volksbob was going to give him the space there. Very close bit of racing there, but good racing between the two. Volksbob being very respectful there. Mr. Rage, I think, going to save some energy. I think that's what he's done this lap. He's got himself up a bit. Use a little out the exit, stay with him. Try and get a good parabolica and mount a run with a big push. Should exit the chicane with about 22-23%. And then the parabolica at 25%, so how much of a push has he got in the car? Mataman no pushing hard. So he's not giving anything. Ryan Sam also really struggling to mount a charge, but here we've got ENTXJ and Bulge Bob. ENTXJ maybe going to send one down into turn 1, he's going to pull out that slipstream. Down into turn 1 he goes. Good move in the brakes, Volksbob hanging it there on the outside, but eventually ENTXJ gets through in the second part of the chicane And up to P5 and Nick and Extremist on next round. Bossman now up to 8 seconds in penalties, so Ryan Sam's still well in that window to win this race. Mr. Rage could be looking to put that Haas in P2 with 7 laps to go, or sorry, take that back, 9 laps to go. It could be a very good day for Haas. Oh, Mr. Rage now picks up a penalty, that's what he did not need. No rage, bad rage. Right, Ryan Sam, let's see, can you mount a challenge? A lot of energy. Are you going to attack, boss man? You happy just to chill? I think he's happy chilling. So where is the action? It's proving very hard for divers to mount an actual overtake. Poor Rage and the slow ass Haas. He will not be enjoying life. He's probably trying to coax Mataman into a little bit of a mistake and then pounce on it. Oh, Extremist and Volksbob here having a bit of racing. Let's get on board with this. Extremist, look at the tyre difference there. He'll tuck into DRS, pull back out. It's going to be an easy pass. Oh, look at this now for Mr. Rage. Makes Matterman sight himself a little, just makes him run his apex a little wide. Mr. Rage gets a lovely tight run. He's going to tuck right under now, and this could be on. Could this be a safety car? Could this be a safety car? There's a yellow flag in sector 2, no safety car yet. Can Rage get the move done beforehand? If there is going to be one, he is now ahead. He's going to go down into the brakes into turn 1, and he makes it stick. And I don't think we're going to get a safety car for that. No, we are not. Back to green flags and continue racing we go. As Extremist and ENTXJ now go wheel to wheel. Matoman and Mr. Rage still at it. I've missed that there. Mr. Rage on that outside line. Matoman now tucks him behind. Interesting bit of tactics going on here between Rage and Matoman, showing each other the nose. Letting them understand that they're there. So one fair movement there for Mr. Rage on the straight. Mataman holding that tighter line, so he's going to now tuck back under the gearbox of Mr. Rage, and I think we'll see the swap positions. Yet again, here comes Mataman, tucks into the toe, he's going to pull to the racing line, and look at the speed difference in the straight, that's absolutely disgusting. Oh, and there's contact! Mr. Rage makes a bit of contact. And Mataman will go through and he gets a 5-second time penalty for cutting the corner there. That was horrible. The game does not need to be that cruel. And what's happened to you, TSJ? What happened? What has happened there? Ryan Sam in absolute glory land at the moment. Mr. Rage, his front end just looking to not quite be there in the car at the moment. Not quite sure what's going on there as the Extremist comes barreling towards him in that new soft compound of tyre. Mr. Rage is hassling that hard because something just doesn't look nice. Something has happened, I don't know if the temps have spiked or what, but it's just not sitting good at all. And look at the traction difference there from Extremist. He's just going to breeze. Oh, Mr. Rage backs out it. He's going to box. Has he got damage? Oh, maybe he picked up damage from clipping the back of Matt. So Extremist on the chase down. Matoman next. And he is absolutely sending the tyres. Even energy for Volks, Bob and ENTXJ. Nick slowly creeping into that DRS zone as well. A race of many incidents. A couple of more laps and there'll be no more safety car either. Now here comes ENTXJ. Can he send one, or he's maybe going to wait? Maybe feels second DRS zone or the main DRS zone is the better move to make. He's probably absolutely right on that choice as well. Try and use the car to break away in the middle sectors. He's going to come for a good run here. Volkswagen, oh, a small wobble on the exit of Scary, but keeps it all nice and neat. JNTX tucked right up in behind. Look at Nick coming for some as well, so Volkswagen needs to be careful here. He could be vulnerable to two overtakes. JNTX a slightly wider line here, and that's going to make also him vulnerable from Nick. But he punches that ERS and he's going to put Volkswagen under attack. DRS open, and look at the straight line speed difference, and here he comes. He'll pull out the slipstream down into turn 1. He'll be easily car length ahead as he hits the brakes. Volkswagen though, he's tremendous on running the brakes on the outside. And that small defence, oh, there's a small bit of wheel spin there between the two, and Volkswagen and URL Nick now go wheel to wheel, and Nick's going to now push through on the Mercedes driver and come absolutely barreling towards ENTXJ as well. Good day inbound for the Williams boys, I think. Oh, and there's Volkswagen now being overtaken by Bossman. Volkswagen just choosing to fall back into the back of that queue, and you need to be careful, don't want to lose too much time because Helmade is barreling through. Let's watch this. This could be a spicy little battle here. Oh wait, Extremist and Matoman, I think that's going to be an easy move. Yes it is, so let's stay with this trio of ENTXJ, Nick and Bossman. This could be some tremendous racing here as we sprint now down to turn 1. There's going to be two cars with DRS, one without, one man trying to defend, the two guys coming for the overtake, so let's see how all this plays out. Nick first on ENTXJ, now we'll go to Bossman. Can he mount a run? Is he going to send one right down the outside? He has a look at it. That is bold there from Bossman. He's going to leave his teammate the space. Oh, there's a small race. Oh no, ENTXJ has been put on the grass. He tried to get the power down, and that's going to put the car round and into the wall. Oh, and next one on the grass. Oh, that's nearly bad contact. Bossman. Woo. He likes to run it very close. He has absolutely no fear. ENTXJ gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. For what? Yeesh. That's rough. So, Mataman has been passed by Extremist. I don't think Extremist is going to pull out 10 seconds in 2 laps, unfortunately. Mataman looks good to bank a P3. But Ryan Sam got the strategy absolutely spot on. And he has, in the end, cantered to a victory. What could have been for Dixie? Same as Extremist, I think he got his strategy just a little bit wrong. That means I would have got it wrong too, because I had the same call. But he still recovered to P3. I think that's still a very, very strong recovery drive for Extremist. Probably wanted more. In fact, P2, take that back. ENTXJ is going to jump in the pits. Fastest lap attempt inbound. And he should be able to get back into the points. So the gaps have opened just a little bit, couple of laps to go. In fact, Ryan Sam just coming round the corner for the third to last time. Safety cars went his way. He was struggling really for a strong inside top 10 finish, but one safety car, one big incident on the restart took about 5 drivers out of the equation and allowed these drivers to get through, luckily from the back to the front. Extremist on the opposing strategy still had to take his pit stop just a little later, and it gave Ryan Sam track position and Extremist a gap that he just couldn't quite make back up. The soft tyres starting to struggle just a little bit, but the gaps are that open that I don't even think we're going to see another overtake till the end of the race, unfortunately. No DRS anywhere, so guys just need to keep it on the black stuff and solidify their finishing position of where they are at the moment. Well driven from Ryan. Stayed calm, even at the back of the pack. He was not trying to fight people too aggressively. He was staying calm, picking his battles very wisely and waiting for opportunities to come. And when you wait for them to come, 50, 60, 70% of the time, they will go in your direction. And Ryan has proved that today. So I think it's a safe 1-2-3. Ryan Sam, Extremist and Mataman just don't need to make any mistakes as Ryan Sam goes on to the last lap of this race. It's been a fun one, pretty entertaining. We've seen some big incidents and I think there'll be some talking points among the drivers. But it wouldn't be league racing without incidents. This is how it goes. Pedro, very unfortunate. Danny Boy had that big moment out the first Lesmo. Pedro tried to nip to the inside to get through it, and the gap just closed. Unfortunately, wheel off. That was our 2 early retirements. Then we had a few dropouts at Ascari. I thought Ascari would have actually have claimed more today, but I think more has been claimed by the Lesmos, which is quite interesting. Let's go on board with Ryan Sam Nose. He comes down the back straight up to Ascari for the very last time. Through Ascari, oh excuse me. Through Ascari he goes, keeping it nice and easy. He does not need to do anything crazy. Up the back straight, spending all the energy, emptying the tanks. Parabolica for one last time. He doesn't care about the apex. Through he goes, out the last corner, and Ryan Sam will take the win in SSR Monza. Extremist looking good to come home in that P2 position. I think he also brought fastest lap. Mataman will bring home a podium for the Williams boys, and they'll be very happy with that. In P3, Bossman will come home in P4 if Nick unfortunately not finding any time. He was close to getting that P4, but Bossman will get the P4. Nick after penalties will be 1.1 behind Bossman, or 1.2. Very good day for Williams. Wolfsburg stellar drive for the Mercedes in P6. Helmade will come home in P7. Looks like Dixie will just hold the P8. Maybe even a 5 second to come off, but oh, it does. It will actually just put him inside Helmade. It will give him P7. Mr. Rage home in P9, and Mitch, I think one of his top 10 first top 10 finishes of the season. And yeah, that was SSR Thursday night realistic performance at Monza. Very, very good job, guys. That was very good fun. Bossman gets the driver of the day from the game. But let's wait for final classification, and we will wrap it up at that one. Well done, Ryan Sam. Ryan Sam, Extremist and Matoman on the podiums. Final classification: Ryan Sam P1, Extremist 2, Matoman 3, Bossman 4, Nick P5, Volksborg P6, Hermaid 7, Dixie 8, Rage P9, and Mitch in P10. Mitzi Rat, ENTXJ. I think they did finish actually, they were just a lap down. Then we get Scooby Stu, Albo, Judge 8 Fingers, Mazaspin, Pedro, and Danny Boy are non-finishers for the day. And that'll be us, guys. The hub will be live again on Monday, of course, with the normal Monday night OTL, the absolute banger. And who knows, maybe SSR's Thursday night realistic performance will make an appearance once again. We will just need to see. But until then, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Rage, and to SSR for the honour of doing some comms over that race this evening, and the channel will be back live on Monday. Take care, guys.